Hey everyone, it's your girl Ashley from AC Dispatch. Thank you for joining in my video, and if you're new, don't forget to subscribe. And if you're returning, hey, how are you? Hopefully you guys are all doing well. On this beautiful, today's Monday, it's Monday night, so hopefully you guys are doing well. Oh no, it's not Monday, it's Tuesday night. I'm sorry. Today's video, you guys are here to learn about things to consider when booking a load, okay? Because this is very important to keep in mind when booking a load. Like, I know it's stressful like in the beginning, but it's so important because this will help you get the job done correctly. So just keep these things in mind. Not everything will apply to every load you book. Sometimes you may be booking the same load, so you already know what the deal is, but this is just for someone who's new and have question like, okay, what should I think about when booking a load? Okay guys, so you see me looking down, I have thoroughly written out what I want to say in this video, the points I would like to make. So if you see me looking down, it's because I'm looking at my iPad for my notes and for guidance. So yeah, when booking a load, you want to make sure that you are yourself looking how far these loads are from, its destination. So from pickup to drop off, what is the time? So yeah, so like if you're picking up in one state, check to see how far it is from drop off destination in the other state or in the same state. That way you can understand just how long your driver is going to be out running for that load. So just check on maps. There's a lot of different apps you can use. Like there's a lot of different mapping apps that you can use, but I use Google Maps and Apple Maps. Those are the only ones I have on my phone. If you prefer to use different map apps, then go ahead and just look that up quickly before you call in a broker, just to see how far these loads are from each other and how long it will take your driver to get to these destinations. So you also want to check for tolls. Tolls is something that will come along depending on which route your driver takes or what state they go, but these are unavoidable. It will have to be paid. So if your driver is going to like northeast states like New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Chicago, that's a city, but you know what I mean, Detroit. If they're going to states more towards the north, it's going to be more expensive. That's just generally. I'm in Atlanta right now, so Georgia. So I'm kind of talking about the east side of the United States. But yeah, the tolls are more expensive towards the north, and in the south is not as expensive, but you can run into some tolls, but it's not as expensive. But the reason why it's good to know this because then you can negotiate this into the rates. So yeah, you can negotiate more for these tolls because you want to mention this to the broker. That way you can, have a reason for asking for more money, because if you're going up north, you want them to cover the cost for the tolls and stuff like that. So that's another thing. So when you're booking these loads, you want to check to state to see, or the area of the city that the driver will be going to, for mountains or anything that can possibly cause problems delivering a heavy load. So if you book a heavy load and it's a state with a lot of rocky mountains and stuff like that, they're gonna have to go up the mountain. This can be a problem for the driver if they're not experienced or inexperienced drivers, or just drivers who don't want to go up mountains with heavy loads. Like especially during certain weather, which we're going to get into a little bit, during certain weather conditions, which we're going to touch upon a little in a bit. But yeah, so you really want to make sure that avoid these loads if you can, or ask your driver they're comfortable taking a heavier load up the mountains and stuff like that. But inexperienced drivers would usually avoid these, and I would say stay away from them just because it can cause problems, and you don't want anything to happen to the load because that will cause a lot of issues, and just avoid it at all costs if that's the case. Inexperienced drivers may not want to take these loads because they are new and they wouldn't know what to do in certain situations, which can stress them out. You don't want your drivers to be stressed out. You want to give them the best loads that you can find for them. Weather conditions is super important to know. I say it all the time, but usually during the colder months is when you want to watch out, especially if you're sending your driver to the north where it can get snowy, where even in the south it could hail sometimes. Certain states could be tornadoes, there could be hurricanes and stuff. So you want to make sure you are checking the state for the weather. You want to be able to keep track of the weather conditions and what's going to go on for those next the next few days if your drivers will be there for the next few days in that state. You want to check for the next few days what the weather's like. Update them, tell them to update you, and just make sure you are booking loads accordingly. So if there's a state that's really heavy snowing, you know, avoid that. If there's a thunderstorm or not a thunderstorm, if there's a snowstorm or hurricane, I'm pretty sure you wouldn't want to send your drivers through these kind of conditions. So just make sure you are aware of the conditions in the area that you're sending your drivers to, because it can cause problems when they're getting in or even when they're coming out. Also, during the winter in the West, in states like Wyoming and Utah, you do have to chain certain loads and stuff like that. I don't know if it's all loads, but I know you have to use chain during the winter season. Don't quote me, I don't know if it's all loads or some loads. I have to go back and check. But this is important to know. That way you can know, like, okay, I have a driver that doesn't have chains, or I have a driver that doesn't want to deal with all that. So you would avoid these states during the winter season. The commodity will give you a good idea of where your driver will be delivering. Asking a broker, hey, what's the commodity? And they tell you, you know, soda cans. You may want to think like, okay, soda cans, these could be Coca-Cola products. Coca-Cola is a big company. Big companies usually have a reputation for taking long hours to unload. So with that being said, this could be a factor that you could take in consideration. Like, hey, it's a big company, long hours to get unloaded. My driver probably won't want to sit through that. I don't want my driver to sit through that, because then they only pay you like 150 if you stay overnight, which can push into another load that you may have set. Or if your driver wants to come back home the next day, or if you want to book them a load, they will have to wait because of that unloading time for that other company, which takes out money from their pocket and from them booking that next load. So you just want to keep this in mind. Like, bigger companies, kind of want to stay away from, because they do take longer times to unload, from what I've heard. So Googling the receiver and like reading the reviews gives you a good insight on whether you should book these loads or not. Because if this drivers just writing like take too long, oh, broker sucks, and all this and that, should you book that load? I don't think you should. So you want to read the reviews and try to stay from companies that got like 1 star, 1.5 star, heck, 2 stars. You know what I mean? Like, I know kind of reviews are on the lower end, but the ones that are on the very, very lower end, you may want to avoid, because this is a sign that your driver have a higher chance of going through some trouble with these receivers. So you just want to make sure that you skip that load and come back to it if you need to. Don't let that be on the top of your list for calling and negotiating rates and trying to set up a load. Find other loads. If you have to spend another 20-30 minutes trying to find a better load, it's so much more worth it, because you can get a better load and your driver will be happy, you'll be happy, they'll be happy. It'll be less stress on both you and the driver, because and then you have to contact the broker for all this extra nonsense that you don't have to do if you just avoid the fact that they had a 1 star and you should have booked with them. You avoid a lot of things. So just finding better loads for your driver will make the process so much easier. Okay. Another tip is asking them for the time specifically, because some brokers may just say morning, some brokers may just say afternoon. You want to make sure, like, okay, we're like specifically like can I have a time frame, because with that being said, it could be the morning, but you don't know within the morning, and that can cause problems. This could be an issue, because if you don't know exactly what time, what if you get there late? You know, you don't want to get to anywhere late. You want to make sure you are on time for the delivery. Oh, well, not you, but the driver want to be on time for delivery, so you don't lose any money or any, you know, there wouldn't be any nonsense, and you can keep that good relationship with the broker. So just make sure you are clarifying the time, because sometimes they don't specify, and you just want to be like, hey, what specific time? Like, is there a time frame? You know, afternoon, 12 p.m., 1 p.m., is it 5 p.m. up until the, you know, just ask some clarifying questions. That way you can know, have a better understanding, you know, and they know, and this can clear up a lot of confusion. Okay, guys, so this is all I have for you today. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please keep certain things into consideration. I know it's kind of like overwhelming at first when you're first starting out, but it's good to keep these things in mind as a dispatcher, because you're going to be working with different carriers, and carriers are not all located in the same state. So you have carriers who go to the west for their loads, and or carriers that go to the north. Every situation is different and every condition is different. So just keeping in the back of your head what to ask for, what to consider when booking a load for your carriers. These things are good to just have or at least know. That way you can avoid certain situations. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel for more tips, more information on dispatching. I hope to see you guys in my next video. God bless.